DJing, that was like a big thing. It was like, because, you know, I started out like hosting shit when I was in school. And
like party type hosting or
just everything. I would host like clubs and shit. When I was too young, they used to take my ID like at the door so I couldn't drink and shit. And I would like be in the club like next to the DJ, like, you know, doing like host shit, shouting out people's birthdays, all that bullshit, whatever. And then at like when we'd have like concerts and shit come to town, I would be like the MC for the concert, be like, all right, like introduce like all the acts and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, like I want to DJ as well, like on top of this shit. So when I first started, I was terrible. I was just trash. Like I just thought it was way easier.
When you first started DJing?
Yeah, I was trash.
What do you think was the problem?
I just think naturally, it's just like DJing just isn't as easy as people. Like, well, good DJing isn't as easy. You know, like with transitions and just knowing, like DJing for an hour and a half is hard enough. You know, but you know, even longer than that is even harder. But yeah, it was just something I just had to like sit down and just focus on. I just needed to get more music and just all that type of shit. So I just literally for like a good year, I stopped hosting shit and I just, you know, sat down and just locked in and practiced for like 9 hours a day. Like literally probably like 9 hours a day until, you know, I feel like I was good enough to DJ in public again. When I first started DJing, because everybody knew me already from like being like the host and like the fun guy or whatever. So when I started DJing and I was trash, it was like, oh, like Chase, he should just stick to DJing. I mean, stick to hosting. Like he's trash, you know, like whatever. So I took a lot of that and then I just got better. And then, you know, at least to this.
That's the real way to do anything.
Exactly.
Instead of like twerking and going viral and then having to quickly like race to master skill sets.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, when you get put on the spot and shit.
Giving yourself the time.
Yeah. You know, I did the same thing with producing too. It was like when I got to a point where I felt like DJing was only going to take me like so far, I was like, the real shit is like putting out hit songs and, you know, and touring that way and whatever. So I was like, you know, DJing these clubs, I know how to do that, obviously. Like, I feel like I've mastered that. So, like, the end of last year, like the beginning of this year, I probably took like a good 6 months off of, I was like no clubs until I put my first song out. So, I just sat down.
Really? You took 6 months off?
Mm-hmm.
This past year?
Probably like from November to like March. What is that? That's like 5 months.
Yeah, that's locking in.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Literally, yeah. No, I was like, I'm not even going to it. I'm not stepping foot in the club until, you know, I can figure this out. So
wow.
Yeah, I just sat down and just made beats every day for 6 months until Mayday happened for real.